I know after the fight, it was said by many people that Tyson could be up there with the greatest heavyweights ever, if not the second greatest British heavyweight ever. Some people have said maybe he's the greatest British heavyweight ever. What do you make of those claims, and how do you see it, given your time and experience working so long in boxing?
And I give him all the credit. He's the best heavyweight there is right now. But to say, you want to say he's the greatest British heavyweight? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm not, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go nuts on that. To start immediately saying right there, because the climate was such, and that Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight of all time. Did you forget about a guy named Ali and Joe Louis and Jack Johnson and Rocky Marciano?
Well, the comparison is somewhat unfair because we never had, when Ali was fighting and later when George fought, guys of that stature, so big in boxing. Generally, these big guys in those days were no good. How do you make a comparison between eras? You don't, particularly when you're dealing with different size athletes.
Forget about the size. We're not talking about size because all of that obviously adjusts with the era. All of that changes with the era. From years ago, the football players, baseball players, and fighters were smaller. So we're just talking about the greatness of the fighters. And part of George Foreman, I mean, I could go on and on. Joe Frazier, I mean, just go on and on.
Prime Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, I forgot about him. How could I forget him? Mike Tyson, Sonny Liston, Larry Holmes. Like I said, I started with Ali and Joe Louis. That's not a bad start.
Well, yeah, you take a guy like Mike Tyson, who is this fearsome puncher and so forth. Well, I mean, how is Tyson going to beat Fury without bringing a stepladder into the ring, right? There's almost a foot difference between them. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, Ali, who was about 6'2", 6'3", how would Ali deal with a guy who was a half a foot taller than he was and could box and could punch? I don't know. But, maybe knowing Ali, he would have found a way.
He's the most versatile heavyweight that's been around for a hell of a long time. Technically sound, dimensional. He can do so many things, brilliantly smart, and a brilliant promoter. I will put his name with Ali here without it being blasphemy. Where I say he promotes, he makes you think of Ali as a promoter. His greatness is that great. It outshines everyone else by that much. So yeah, he's a genius. And you talk about that. Part of what goes in to the judgment of that greatness is longevity. Who they fought. Now look, I know you can only fight who's around in your era. But to say he's the greatest heavyweight in the history of a sport that's been around longer than any other sport in the world, with the names that I just finished throwing at you, I mean, and not only were they around when, again, you can't control the talent of your era, but these guys were around where they fought talent of different eras. That's how long they were around, where they actually tapped their toe into the pool of talents from other eras, other decades. And Fury hasn't done that.
I mean, you just don't. I hate these comparisons with different eras.
Do you believe Tyson Fury is
I ain't gonna say the greatest of all time. To me, it's no way I can say that. But do you at least believe he's a top 10 heavyweight? I think you can make an argument for that. But greatest of all time, I can't do it. Realistically, though, I'll say he's definitely probably somewhere between 10 and 20. But greatest of all time, oh no, I can't do that. But that's my thoughts. You give me yours. This is Head Busting Boxing's own Fight Doctor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know, why would you say Tyson Fury isn't a top 10 heavyweight or all-time great, whatever you got him at, or why isn't he a top 10 heavyweight or greatest all-time, etc., etc. Let me know. This is Head Busting Boxing's own Fight Doctor. I am out.